Chapter 1: The Scourge of Wawel Hill. Once upon a time, in the ancient land of Poland, there lay a city at the crossroads of trade and culture, a jewel of the realm known as Krakow. The city was famed for its bustling markets, majestic architecture, and the grandeur of Wawel Castle, which stood proudly atop Wawel Hill, overlooking the Vistula River. But beneath the hill, in the dark caverns carved by nature's own hand, there lurked a creature of legend, a dragon of such fearsome countenance that the very earth trembled at its roar. The dragon of Krakow was not a mere figment of old wives' tales, but a living scourge that cast a shadow over the city. Its scales were like shards of emerald and obsidian, and its eyes glowed with a baleful fire. Smoke and flame would billow from its nostrils as it took to the sky, its vast wings blotting out the sun. For many years the people of Krakow had lived in the grip of fear. The dragon demanded a tribute of cattle, and when the cattle were not enough, it took to devouring the townsfolk themselves. The bravest knights from across the land came to challenge the beast, their armor shining and their swords sharp, but one by one they fell before the dragon's might, their weapons unable to pierce its enchanted hide. The king of Krakow, a wise and just ruler, was at his wit's end. He offered half his kingdom and his daughter's hand in marriage to any man who could rid them of the dragon. Many more tried and failed, and the people began to lose hope that they would ever be free from the terror that lurked beneath Wawel Hill. It was then that a young and clever shoemaker's apprentice named Krak stepped forward. He had no armor to shield him, no sword to wield, but he carried with him an idea, a plan so daring and so cunning that it might just work. Krak sought an audience with the king, and laid out his scheme to defeat the dragon, not with brawn, but with wit. The king, desperate and intrigued by the young man's confidence, agreed to the plan. Krak set to work, his hands deftly preparing the bait that would be the dragon's undoing. He took a sheepskin and filled it with sulfur and pitch, crafting it into a semblance of a succulent meal. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a crimson glow over Wawel Hill, Krak dragged the deceptive offering to the mouth of the dragon's lair. The townsfolk watched from the battlements, their hearts a mix of hope and dread. The ground shook as the dragon emerged, its nostrils flaring as it caught the scent of what it believed to be its evening feast. With a snarl, the dragon devoured the sheepskin whole, the sulfur and pitch igniting within its belly. The beast roared in agony, its insides aflame, and it thrashed wildly, seeking relief in the waters of the Vistula. But it was to no avail. The fire consumed it from within, and with one final pitiful wail, the dragon of Krakow was no more. The city erupted in jubilation, their long nightmare at an end. Krak was hailed as a hero, his name forever etched in the annals of history. The king, true to his word, offered Krak his daughter and half the kingdom, but Krak, ever humble, asked only for a plot of land upon which to build his home. And so, the city of Krakow prospered, the legend of the dragon and the clever shoemaker passed down through generations, a tale of courage, ingenuity, and the triumph of the human spirit over the darkness that once dwelled beneath Wawel Hill. Chapter 2: The Clever Shoemaker's Plan. In the days following the dragon's defeat, the city of Krakow was alight with celebration. Banners flew from every window, and the air was filled with the sound of music and merriment. The people's hearts were full of gratitude towards the young shoemaker Krak, whose intelligence had saved them from the dragon's wrath. Krak, however, remained focused on the future. He knew that the king's offer was generous, but he sought not wealth or power. Instead, he requested a modest piece of land at the edge of the city, where the sun kissed the fields and the Vistula's waters whispered secrets to the night. There, he would establish his own workshop and live a life of quiet contentment. But the story of the clever shoemaker's plan had only just begun to unfold. The people of Krakow, inspired by his ingenuity, implored him to share the wisdom behind his victory. Krak obliged, inviting the townsfolk to gather around as he recounted the tale of his daring strategy. "I observed the dragon closely," Krak began, his voice steady and clear. I saw its strength, its ferocity, and its impenetrable scales, but I also saw its greed and its hunger. It was these flaws that I chose to exploit. The crowd listened intently as Krak explained how he had studied the properties of sulfur and pitch, substances known for their flammability. By filling a sheepskin with these materials, he had created a meal that would ignite the dragon's insatiable appetite for destruction. It was not a sword or lance that brought the beast low, Krak continued, but knowledge and cunning. In every challenge we face, there is a solution, if we are willing to look beyond the strength of arms. The people of Krakow were moved by Krak's words. They realized that the true power lay not in the muscles of warriors, but in the sharpness of the mind. The shoemaker's plan had not only slain a dragon, it had ignited a spark of enlightenment within the hearts of all who heard it. In the weeks that followed, Krak's workshop became a place of pilgrimage. People from all walks of life came to seek his advice on matters great and small. The shoemaker, always generous with his time, met with each visitor, sharing his insights and encouraging them to think creatively in the face of adversity. Krak's reputation as a sage grew, and his workshop flourished. He trained apprentices, not only in the art of shoemaking but also in the art of problem-solving. His teaching spread throughout the land, and the city of Krakow became known as a center of innovation and wisdom. The king, impressed by the lasting impact of Krak's victory, decreed that the city's new coat of arms would bear the image of the defeated dragon, a symbol of the triumph of intellect over brute force. And as for Krak, he found joy not in riches or titles, but in the knowledge that his legacy would endure, inspiring generations to come to face their dragons with courage and a clever plan. In the fullness of time, the legend of the Dragon of Krakow and the clever shoemaker named Krak became the heartbeat of the city. The fearsome beast that once cast its shadow over the land was now but a whisper, a tale to be told by the fireside to wide-eyed children who could scarce believe that such a creature had ever roamed their peaceful home. The city of Krakow, now free from the dragon's tyranny, blossomed like a flower in the warmth of the sun. The fields where the dragon had once hunted were now filled with laughter and play. The river where it met its fiery end sparkled with the promise of tomorrow. And the people, oh the people, they thrived in the safety that Krak's bravery had afforded them. Krak himself, the humble shoemaker, became a symbol of hope, a testament to the power of wit over might. His workshop, a beacon of learning and innovation, drew in the curious and the bold from far and wide. And as the years passed, the story of the dragon's fall at the hands of a simple apprentice was etched into the very stones of Krakow. But let us not forget the dragon, for in its fall, it taught us all. It taught us that no terror is too great, no adversary too powerful, when faced with the indomitable spirit of human ingenuity. The dragon's roar, once a sound that froze the blood, now serves as a reminder that even the fiercest of beasts can be overcome. And so, the city of Krakow stands, a monument to the triumph of the human spirit, a place where dragons fall and shoemakers rise, where legends are born and history is made. In the heart of every Krakowian, the story lives on, a story of courage, of intellect, and of the eternal dance between the darkness below and the light within.